Okay, it's been a little while. I took a bit of a break after chapter 3 because a lot happened, and I needed to recover my voice a bit because, God, it was going terribly. Nonetheless, it's time to start chapter 4 and see where things are going, because last time ended with quite the bang. No pun intended. Naughtier. Okay. What the hell? What's happening here? Also, is it... That is just a weird skybox. It's not meant to look like there are lines. Right. Right, and this is gonna be Cedric. Because they went to Remeferia. Wait, was that last time? I don't remember. Did they go to Remeferia this time? During chapter 3 or chapter 2? Why do I not remember this? It's only been like a couple of days. Okay. Look at all these past characters we'll never see. Oh, Hugo. Okay. Okay, and he's doing the glasses thing, classic. How did he... I'm not even going to question how he ended up here. And there's Victor. How is he? We can maybe find out exactly what happened with McBurn here. In a while since...
We are now over the western part of the Isengard mountain range. Estimated arrival in Heimdallr is 1410.
Maintain current course and speed. Once we reach Ulster, adjust course to run parallel to the railroad.
Was this always his voice?
Aye, aye, Captain.
You have my thanks, Your Grace.
I do not remember whether that was his voice. What the fuck? Neidhart as well?
Your assistance this past week has been invaluable.
Think nothing of it. This is the Crimson Wing's job, after all. I've no doubt your first bout of field exercises in Northumbria saw you even busier than I.
Okay, good. I was right. I wasn't getting lost in it.
It is I who should be thanking you for your hard work.
To be honest, I'm having a difficult time deciding how to proceed as a teacher.
Okay.
Perhaps that is a sign of General Craig's influence. I would advise you to follow your own convictions for the time being. That way, you may...
Ah, instructor. There you are.
So what's the purpose of this set of scenes? They always set something up.
Cadet Arner.
Greetings, my lord.
Seeing it up close, the Courageous is truly amazing. And though it was barely used during the Civil War, its main cannon is certainly impressive as well. Perhaps we should consider deploying a number of cruisers to match our fleet of battleships.
Well, good luck with that one.
Cadet.
It is true that during an emergency, such power may prove beneficial.
You're just not going to get the engineering parts necessary, because...
Learning when to use one's
like
power and when to refrain is an important lesson. If that is the lesson your field exercises have taught you, then I'd say it is safe to declare them a success.
Yes, of course. My thanks, Captain Arcade. I look forward to seeing you again. I wish you luck patrolling the summer festival alongside my older brother.
Patrolling alongside Olivier? That's a curious choice of words. I'm not actually sure what that would mean. Just walking about, or what? This is in fact exactly how it looked in the previous games. Or previous game. Wasn't really into at all. Don't remember this part of the streets though. This might be new. Heck, it probably is new. Oh, down here. And those are in fact boxes, so I guess we're going down here later. What the fuck? What? What is... Okay. This is very random.
Damn it! How many times have they slipped away like that now? There's no end to it!
So is that like the illusion's blow blunt used? All the way back in SC?
We need help from the intelligence division or the RMP.
What was that?
Man, it'd be nice if all we had to deal with are those half-wits.
The hell?
But we can't afford to let our guard down. Spread out and lay low until the appointed time. Be sure you've got your ramdas ready to use.
Ramda? Hold on. What is happening? I'm
Roger.
so confused.
Recommencing mission.
This is so random, and also reusing some VAs here for sure.
Red flowers?
Okay, so they're not related to the Pleroma grass at all. Are they like noble faction resistors? That seems to be the most likely thing. Perhaps working for whatever
I don't think so.
Muse suggested. Okay, what?
There's no end to them.
What is Vita doing? And why?
The eyes which served as the vessel for the bringer of miracles.
Huh? The eyes which served as the vessel... Okay.
But when the flame consumed the mirage, the fairy tale became that of the Empire.
Okay, well there you go. That's some sort of answer to Phantasmal Blaze, isn't it? Okay, so we're looking at the Flame and Mirage Septarians again. Demiurgus is involved again, so my theory that here was necessary to revive the actual Demiurgus, and they need to use the Flame Septarian to return it, is back in play to some degree. And if it turns out to be right, because I've had this theory since Azure, I'm going to be very happy.
So as a professional, how do you intend to intervene?
Although, if it is those two in the Empire, I'm going to be a bit confused, because it means they were including Crossbell before, when they mentioned the two. Actually, well, that does make sense. It doesn't it? That's what, when Lysander said the stuff about the two Septarians, it was after Crossbell was already integrated, right? Yeah, it was. Even if it was very recent. I also currently have a theory, because I did see like the Steam banner art for Reverie, that is Demiurgus on that, so we'll see.
Oh, was I that obvious?
Oh my god, you mention him and he arrives. It's Lysander himself. How's he look?
To be perfectly honest,
More redheaded?
I'm having a
Okay.
bit of trouble finding a lead.
Hold on.
I was hoping we could work together as friends and colleagues and have ourselves a little information exchange. I could even help you bury the hatchet with the elder of your clan, perhaps?
Wait, what? Well, so, I have to assume at this point that Rose is in fact Vita's teacher and Emma's teacher and not actually an Anguis. Probably, I think. So, he's talking about Rose? And how would he be able to do that? Is she working with the Growlsritter to some degree? Is she a member? That wouldn't really make sense unless she had a stigma. And then she'd be super snagged, being like... If it is the Rose from Red Moon Rose, like one of the true vampires or whatever, alongside a stigma, that'd be insane.
That's right. You have an agreement with her, don't you?
Okay, just an agreement.
Well, I'll consider your offer. However, I ask that you play nice from now on, Mr. Former History Instructor.
His hair looks so much spikier.
Or should I say, Second Dominion, Thomas Lysander the
Imagine if
Partitioner.
you hadn't done CS2, you'd be, even with the scene earlier, with, what's her name? Oh my god. The student became one of a sister in the church. I really have forgotten her name for some reason. Imagine if you went to that scene confused, and then this comes up, you're like, what? Oh my god, his glasses look incredibly funny, and he does look a lot cooler now. They really were like, okay, we can't leave him as he was. Olivier time, also so many scenes. I'm glad I took a few days to cool down after the end of chapter 3, because that would be like an hour plus of cutscenes to process all at once. This looks nice. This isn't the villa, is it, that we went to? Doesn't look like it, no. Esmeralda Garden, right? I think this is new. Could be a dungeon, sort of laid out like one, but not really. Probably gonna visit it, though. Oh, it's actually the Emperor and Empress. That's rare. These guys do not get screen time. They do not get to do anything. Also, she looks super young. It does need to be said.
I would not have expected that Olivert would be missing the party like this.
It is unfortunate, yet understandable, given the current situation. With the Crimson Wings safeguarding Heimdall's skies, I'm sure the citizens will feel at ease.
Yes, but I can't help but feel bad for him. I wonder if he's been upset over Cedric's actions of
Probably.
late.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Olivert isn't the type to let that get to him.
That's also true.
You should know this as well as I.
No, you're right.
She's not Oliver's mother, right?
He was only a young boy when he lost his mother and was adopted into the royal family.
This is a very cute artwork, honestly.
I would have understood if he
Olivier
hadn't
is a boy,
accepted
man.
me, given his early life. But he gladly welcomed me as his stepmother and was truly happy when Alphen and Cedric were born.
So full of joy before he had to deal with fucking Osborne, although he still has a good amount of that joy.
Yes,
gonna be beaten.
that is the virtue he possesses. It's easy to believe he has friends not simply across Erebonia, but the entire continent.
That's very
Yes.
true.
However, recently, even though Cedric once looked up to his older brother, he...
Pardon me, Your Highness. Chancellor Osborne would like an audience.
Very well. Send him in.
Okay, is Osborne about to make a power play or about to reveal some sort of cooperation with the Emperor? What's this leading to? Is this the first time we've seen him in this game?
My apologies for interrupting, my liege.
I think it is. No, it's
You
not.
as well, Lady Priscilla.
He appeared early on, talking with all the Ironbloods, right?
No. It's quite all right. I shall excuse myself now.
She
No, the back of
seems
his
to have
coat
some
is-
worries about the prince.
The back of Osborne's coat is rather stylish. I never noticed.
It is to be expected, so long as she sees things differently from you.
Understood.
What? So they are cooperating to some degree. Eugen just happens to care about Oliver /
In
Olivier.
any event, it seems things are beginning to line up with what was written in
So
the
the Black
records.
Records. I'm going to read that actually the moment we can.
Yes, though we set the timing for the Civil War ourselves.
Okay, so god damn it, what the hell? Why? What does this mean? So he's working directly with Eugen. This was all planned together. He's not making is he making a power play alongside this? What is the whole, like, what is the whole here?
By this point, however, the ending is all but decided.
What?
But are you certain this is all right? Leaving everything in my hands?
Okay, so he is actually subservient to him after all. He isn't trying to overtake him in power or try to wrest power from him ultimately. Even not, if not for his own sake, he's actually working directly with him. That is confirmed. It's all planned out.
As I told you 14 years ago.
Okay, all the way back.
If there truly is no other way to avoid this end, then I shall leave it all to you. It may place a great burden on my sons, but could not the same be said of you?
He did insult Reen very openly
Yes,
at the beginning of the game. It does need to be said. He did. For no necessary reason. Radiant Heimdallr, huh? God damn it. I'm so... There's so many things to think about. Like, I don't know what to think. I need to read these Black Records immediately. Summer, yay! Summer Festival number 2 coming up. Wonderful. Leaves. Really? Do they just not want to bother for one chapter? I feel that's reasonable, honestly. Okay. Wait, what? Okay. I can really only just say okay. We're joining up for something. Okay. God damn it, I did it again. Strikels. Yes, Strikels is very interesting because if it relates to Ugent, and like there's the bloodline thing, and then there's the relation to Reen and Valamar and how it all adds up in the Black Records. It's very complex now. I'm still remembering the Drykels all the way back in CS1 was revealed to know about the Promised State, which Ouroboros talked about in Azure. And it was all related to the schoolhouse, and probably Valamar as a result. You know? And he knows Rose and Arian Road. And Rose... I don't know, man. I don't know. See, this is very similar to Olivier. It does need to be said. I'm very curious if that is purposeful, by considering that Ugent and Osborne now clearly seem to have had this planned out since the beginning. I'm wondering if this was purposeful. They tried to push Olivier into that role. That's similar to his time in Libel, for example. So Roland is another option for Valamar, right? Valamar could be a person that was integrated into it, and I've theorized it was potentially still Drykels. Potentially not. It could be Roland. It could also just be a random mech. But I'm just left a bit curious, frankly. And with little information, especially because, and I think this is the most integral part of all this, Valamar is the only mech to have been shown with any emotion or feeling, or even any lines as of yet. Right, the Azure one that Crow had didn't speak a single line, as I recall. We haven't seen any of the others speak any lines, and they also have these weird glitch effects around them. So is Valamar unique in that he was originally a mech, and then they inserted personality, and they did not do that for any of the others? This is theory after theory right now, really. I'm just using my brain to put together anything at all, because there's so much. Yep.
question. Was that person you and the other instructors fought the real Saint Leanne?
Very likely, yes. Why was she the only one that was voiced?
Without a doubt. She was tremendously strong, and that aura of hers certainly seemed real. But it's possible one of Ouroboros' members is just posing as her.
Well, it's possible. I would put it like a 1% chance at this point.
Let's put that aside for now, though.
Still
Interesting.
Stingy.
Don't be stingy. What the hell? What do you think he can talk about? There's no information. Okay. They're all writing in sync. And he was taught by Lysander himself, the second Growlsritter. For God's sake, Muse. For God's sake. A few days was not long enough to get away from it. Okay, are we going to spend more time in the academy this time, or is it just going to be like skip through a bit? Because it wouldn't fit in the pattern they've been doing this game like they did in CS1. They never broke it before. Okay. Well, Kurt, it's time to beat him and show him who's boss. That's a reward, a free day, as always. Fantastic. What a gift, really. More scenes, okay. So this seems a bit weird because they wouldn't have had unified, like, teaching plans up to now, or unified curriculum. I guess this is pretty haphazard and they wouldn't have taught that much in terms of different things. They finished the first stage of their plan then. Well, they did finish their experiments. And there was the whole thing where I guess Leanne, I could just say Leanne, was just leaving, basically. Straightforward. Hey, it's time for the usual. Time to talk to all the students and go to the library and now read the Black Records as well. Yeah, a lot to think about, huh, Reen? And you don't even know about George. Huh? Mr. George Gnome, aka Genome, aka Gnome. It's incredible. Studying point. No, they're doing it again. They're making me do CS1 all over again. I was not prepared for CS1 at all. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Oh, my God. What the hell? Okay, let's read all of these. Okay. Okay. Jesus Christ. Good for him. What the why would she say it like that? It is a strange gift to think to send her, honestly. What the hell? This is continuing to be wild. Right. So talk to everyone. Use studying points. 3 of them we have. Will it be daily? Oh boy, that's a lot of people to talk to. So I'm guessing the ones with exclamation marks that are bonding events will be the study points this time. God damn it. Okay, for now, it's time to read the Black Records. Where is this in this game? Wait, I'm in the wrong menu, that's why. Wait, what the hell? Why can't I open it? What's happening? There we go. Weird. Okay. Books, Black Records. Let's look through these quickly. Wait. These are, I think, the same as before. Let me just quickly skim this. I think this is different. I don't remember this from the previous game. Right now, we're only missing Black Records 1 out of these 6. So I would assume we have most of the information we're going to get. We can start and then figure out what 1 is when it comes to us. So this is Black Records 2, right? They're not too long. Let's read through these and we'll see how long this takes. We may just end the episode after the cutscenes in this and then go through everything next time. We'll see. Magic Knights, year 527. 150 years after the recapture of the capital by Emperor Hector, powerful families rose across the empire as the nation began to establish itself once more. Okay, that seems about reasonable. Its various regions gradually condensed into a handful of provinces. Families in power were recognized by the emperor and became overseers of their respective provinces and nobility. Before long, however, they began quarreling over territory, sparking a great many skirmishes between them in the process. During this time, great knights akin to Emperor Hector's Vermilion Knight appeared across the land and were quickly thrust into the center of these conflicts. Okay, so the knights came up in like mini territory wars before the War of the Lions. This is a long time before, right? Like another 250 years prior. The Azure, Palatinate, Ashen, Argent, and Auric Knights were seized by various noble families, granting them overwhelming power and the ability to decide the outcome of battles. Hold on. Hector's Vermilion. Right, so Vermilion, Azure, Palatinate, Ashen, Argent, and Auric. So that's 6. We're missing 1. And then we have Vermilion for fire / flame, Azure for water, I guess is the best choice. Palatinate for, I don't know what purple would be. Could be time instead of black. I don't remember what colors Argent and Auric are because I'm an idiot. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now. Because Ashen will be Mirage. That places Reen in the center of one of the 2 Septarians that are likely being covered, which makes sense. So let's see. Auric is okay. No, hold on. Brown, I think, which would put it as Earth. Argent I should know. Why don't I remember what Argent is? Okay, it's silver as well. Okay. That doesn't really work very well then. Is Ashen potentially wind? That also doesn't work. It could be... Yeah, I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to move on. These don't seem to connect too easily, so I'll need to know what the last one is before I can start making clearer guesses. If there is a last one, even. Anyway, Those without the Great Knight's power saw them as bringers of ruin. Before long, certain groups began devoting all their resources to finding some way to combat these unstoppable threats. Thus gave rise to a new creation of Erebonia's mages, golems created by powerful spells, the Magic Knights. Makes sense, they were like mini knights created to hold back the Great Knights. Like many other groups of the era, the mages were obsessed with the glory of the ancient Zemurians and devoted themselves wholly to recreating it. Their obsession was funded by an influx of merit from lesser noble families and assistance from a certain faction. Now, what is that certain faction? It could be help from the Crisis, because at this point they were already beginning their plans, or were they already underway for quite a while? I don't recall. I think it was just the beginning of the plans, or even maybe a tiny bit before they began, somewhere around there. It could also be Ouroboros or a church or anything, really. I'm just guessing the Crisis because it's something to do with alchemy to some degree, creating golems, or it has been. And I wouldn't be surprised if they connected it like that. Under their supervision, a slew of magic knights was created, all for the sake of combating the unstoppable power of the Great Knights. It also makes sense why they can appear in crossbow as well. However, the magic knights were not without flaws. Perhaps their greatest failing is that they were unable to be operated unless they could draw power from active spirit veins. They became a successful countermeasure against the Great Knights nonetheless, as spirit veins were always disrupted wherever a Great Knight made an appearance. So that's why they couldn't appear in crossbow before. In the year 527, the first golem that could be considered the prototype for the Magic Knights was created in the workshop of a mage serving a formerly powerful, but now long forgotten noble family to the north. Okay. Do we know anything about this? It wouldn't be the Schwartzers. It says long forgotten. It's probably what relates to the weird tablet that's next to him here. Olgadia became at the height of 5 hours, this headless golem known as Olgadia became a remnant of the mage's trials and error in developing the other models of magic knights. Okay, Olgadia. I know that name. I'm almost certain. Was it the one at the beginning of SC? That would make sense. That'd be interesting, especially because it is in the north, right next to the rest, and it came to fight Valimar. We'll see though. It's also the weakest one we fight, technically, because how power works, you get strong in levels. Doesn't matter though. Whoa, okay. We jump over 400 years. Fair enough. The Lance Maiden, in 942. 2 shadows wavered in the corner of a dark underground room, lit only by a small bonfire. Okay, we're actually getting dialogue? What? I see, so you feel an overwhelming presence, do you? The young maiden stood before the fire. The faint breeze passing through the underground blew her hair, giving it the appearance of a flowing stream of gold, contrasting with the massive silver lance she held in her arms. Oh, are you telling me you wish to turn back before we have even begun? You are, and so be it. It is far beyond the power of mankind. A young blonde-haired woman with red eyes, wielding a dimly shining staff, rose, answered in an antiquated tone. So there's a connection. She feels an overwhelming presence and is like, hey, do you want to turn back? Also, she doesn't wield a staff in Red Moon Rose. Curious. The maiden shook her head and urged the woman to open the door before her. It bore the crest of the cross surrounded by spirals. This is after... Wait, hold on, I didn't even look at it. This is quite a bit after the war, because this is something like 70 years ago, I think. Crest of the cross surrounded by spirals. So that's going to be one of the doors. The one we saw in the Gram, right? Maiden's name was Leanne Sandlot, the daughter of the Count of Lohengrin Castle in the Gram. However, she would be remembered by history as the Lance Maiden. Raised in the Gram, known for its masterful teachings of warfare, she displayed skill in the art of battle far surpassing her age. At the young age of 15, she was already a match for the castle knights. Said to have godlike mastery of a lance on horseback, it wasn't long before she had completely surpassed the other knights in competitions, amassing a veritable mountain of laurels and awards. The country was amazed by this young girl's incredible talent. The tale of the maiden who was stronger than the knights protecting her spread, and people began to flock to her. At age 16, she began hearing a voice in her head. The voice was austere yet magnanimous, and it told Leanne of the duty she had to fulfill, and the destiny she had to accept. Okay, there's two options. Easy option. The one that's perhaps being baited is that it's Rose appearing to her and talking to her. It does make sense, though it's not in her head, and this seems to be fully accurate, despite the fact it shouldn't quite be. So if it's a voice in her head, the Grandmaster is the only reasonable guess. Also puts the Grandmaster being quite old and capable of doing this. Naturally, Leanne was upset by this voice only she could hear. However, it wasn't long until she met its owner, a mysterious woman who called herself a witch. I was wrong. It was just what we would. It was just the easy option. It was Rose. Cool. The witch spoke of an entity sealed far below the castle and of Leanne's duty to become its master. Its presence was overwhelming, and once claimed, it would bring its wielder great power. Okay, hold on. Yet it also had the potential to cause great devastation. After much consideration, Leanne made the decision to undergo its trial. I'm wrong, it's 1100, not 1000. Actually, it's 1200. Am I crazy? Why did I think it was like 70 years ago? This is the War of the Lions. Yeah, and the previous one was 700 years ago. So this is just before the War of the Lions. It was a way of trying to bring an end to the Empire's conflicts. In addition, as long as she held this power of her own, the noble families would never be able to abuse it. The witch was surprised by Leanne's answer, but recognized her determination and spirit by offering to help her. Thus the door opened, and the lance and the witch proceeded into the trial. 5 years later, the demise of the Emperor would lead to the beginning of the largest scale civil war history had ever seen, the War of the Lions. Okay, so yeah, she had one. Not sure which one it is. It's probably the Argent, considering it was also silverish. Interesting. Argent could also be related to space, I guess. They could be going for that. Not sure though. So yeah, she's had this since the War of the Lions, or even 5 years prior, curiously. And in some period in the 415 years between these two, they disappeared from history in some form, somehow. Okay. Now we're jumping another 52 years to the Lionheart Emperor in 994. Forgive me, you may leave now. Okay, I'm guessing that's rifles. Yes, sir, please call for me if anything happens. The head butler, now in his late years, bowed before leaving. The other man sighed deeply as he lay down on the bed. He was elderly and sick. His well-trained body was as sturdy as a fortress still, and very few would ever doubt the condition of his health. However, he was clearly aging, weakening, and felt his end looming over the horizon. Lionheart Emperor, otherwise known as Dreikel's Weise Arnor. He was the 73rd Emperor and nearing the age of 70. After ending the 5-year-long civil war known as the War of the Lions, Dreikel's had been working tirelessly for 40 years. Although he was enthroned the year the war ended, he had lost his Nordic friends and parted with the witch. He and his vassals worked hard to restore the empire. I have no regrets. No need to worry about the children either. Why are we seeing his thoughts? How? Okay. The Empress had also urged him to give up on thoughts of the past. She was the daughter of a Marquis who was assassinated during the Civil War, and although she was much younger than he, they fell deeply in love, and she bore him 2 sons and 2 daughters. Is there any comparison here that I can think of? Muse is the only one that was assassinated, but she's clearly not in this position. That had her parents assassinated. Sorry. I think. I'm not going to think about this one. I can't think of it right now. Although she passed several years earlier, her children remained healthy and would shoulder the burden of the reconstructed empire's future. The next generation is being raised as well. Oh, okay, his grandchildren. In the first half of the war, his best friend Roland Vander gave his life to protect him, and now Arno raised his son. The son was already in his 40s now, and he flourished as a martial arts master while serving as a military officer. So yeah, the Vanders began here. Did they ever reveal that his name is Roland Vander? For now, they might have. Then there was Thor's Military Academy. He had established the academy 20 years prior. It was a place for the best and the brightest, accepting students from various backgrounds. He'd be surprised. He smiled, thinking of his good friend that had fallen into a deep slumber at the end of the Civil War, Valamar. The academy had been constructed at the place they first met, and where his friend now rested once more, the schoolhouse. These long years weren't for nothing then. As long as I can endure that thing until Adios comes for me, that is. He cast his gaze to the corner of the room. There waited the nameless darkness. Huh? ... Today it came to speak to him, begging pathetically, threatening with intimidation, subtly tempting. He knew what it was ever since that day 40 years ago when he took the throne. I suppose I should be happy my children's descendants won't suffer the same curse. This is potentially racist to the dragon? No, right? Doesn't really make sense. If he were not a man of the heart of a lion, he would surely have been broken by this daily torment long ago. On this day, however, he had a second visitor, Drykel's. Incredibly harmonious voice called out his name, bringing with it a waving stance with Leanne, I'm guessing. Yeah. He looked up to see a woman with hair like flowing gold standing at his side. What the fuck does this mean? And now we're jumping to the salt. Whoa, how does the salt pail relate to all this? Hold on, that's okay. I'm excited now. Okay, almost 200 years. Right, the salt pail is like one of the biggest mysteries in the series. On July 1st, 1178, at 5:45 am, a great catastrophe struck Northumbria, then a principality in northern Zamoria. A giant white pillar suddenly appeared in the outskirts of its capital, Haliask. The pillar was comprised not of snow nor ice, but salt. As such, it was named the Salt Pail. A storm of salt spread out from it, solidifying everything it touched. Despite only lasting a few days, its effects were felt for months afterwards as citizens fled south seeking refuge. Yeah, that's about right. In the immediate aftermath of the catastrophe, the number of victims equaled about 1/8 of the country's population. The number rose to nearly 1/3 of the population with the inclusion of victims in the days that followed. After the incident, the Septian Church led evacuation procedures, provided aid, and employed hundreds of the Embracer Guild to help. In a short time, relief forces from Erebonia, Remiferia, Jirai, Liberl, and the Republic of Calvard had assembled in Northumbria. So far, it's adding up. I think it was a bit different how it was explained in third, but not massively. Meanwhile, the country's leader, Prince Balmond, who had fled to a neighbouring country at the start of the catastrophe, returned to rebuild the government. However, he was met with violence from the enraged citizens for leaving them behind in their hour of need. In the end, he was forcibly removed from power, and Northumbria became a democracy. The remnants of its former armed forces reformed as the Northern Jaegers. Erebonia, their neighbour to the south, had contradictory views on the new autonomous state. On one hand, it refused to recognise the legitimacy of the new democratic government. On the other, it eagerly welcomed the Northern Jaegers. Northumbria's extreme poverty and focus on bringing in foreign currency meant that the former soldiers were easily manipulated by the promise of imperial coin. They all went around the empire, hiring themselves out to nobility and newly developing businesses who were fighting over Septian and natural resources. Okay, so this is adding up. So I'm guessing Sarah's father was there at the very beginning of the whole Salt Pail incident. They turned out to be the perfect pawns for Erebonia to use in its proxy wars and internal struggles. Despite this, the massive amounts of mirror that flowed in from the Empire helped save Northumbria from its dire straits. 27 years after the catastrophe of the Salt Pail, the Empire annexed Northumbria as reparations for the Northern Jaegers' actions in the Erebonian Civil War. As before, Erebonia's vast resources ended up lifting the former independent state out of its chronic poverty. Shortly after the disaster, the Septian Church restricted access to the northern half of the country. After the annexation, however, the Imperial Army's intelligence division began investigating the Pale, which had since been classified as an otherworldly singularity. One of the intelligence division's collaborators has been able to confirm that members of the Church's Dominion retrieved the Salt Pail and brought it back to Arteria. It's rumoured, however, that a piece of the Pale still remains on site in Northumbria. Okay, so that's definitely different to how it was described. So the Salt Pail was described to be very small and retrieved by the Dominion that was there, who I think was the 7th? It was, I believe, the one that was wandering in CS2. But they left a piece? Or they miss a piece? So they have access to the Salt Pail as well. Like, it was used against Weissman. Very interesting and very worrying. Also very curious. Global shutdown phenomenon. Yay! Liberl, year 1203. Septian 1203, February. Southern reaches of the southern province. All willpower came to a sudden stop in the area around Palm and Titus Gate. It had been a relatively mild winter, but without lights, communications, or heaters, the people of Palm found themselves subjected to cold and darkness for an entire week. Southern's provincial army was called in to provide aid. After a short investigation, the source of the outage was determined to be a city-sized airship that appeared over Valeria Lake in Libel, a neighbouring kingdom to the south. Yep, that's right. The floating structure had a height of 5,000 and a length of 3,000 arch. The ancient submarine structure drew in nearly all orbital energy from the entirety of Libel into itself. Thus, the southern reaches of Erebonia were affected as well. 3 days after the incident began, the Imperial Army's 3rd Armored Division moved with surprising speed from Drekman Fortress to Palm, and then on to Titus Gate, giving support to those affected along the way. That was only 3 days after it began, so the party during Sky did a full lap at Libel during the orbital shutdown in 3 days. Holy fuck, okay. Though the Army's orbital tanks ceased to function near the Empire's southern border, they also had a large number of steam-powered tanks available. Using the combustion-driven models allowed them to get around without relying on orbital energy. Even the cannons themselves used gunpowder ammunition. That wasn't ideal, it was enough to allow them to respond to the situation. The leader of the 3rd Armored Division was Lieutenant General Zex Vander, a member of the family tasked with guarding the Imperial family in a Modretan army led mostly by warhawks. He felt conflicted as he led his division south into Liberlian territory. The government's stated reason for his current orders were to protect the citizens during the power outage and assist Libel during the current crisis. That's about right. The strange part was that the steam-powered tanks, which were vastly inferior to the orbital-powered models, had been commissioned by the Imperial government and provided to the army only a month before the incident. Yeah, it's very weird, isn't it? It's almost like they had some information about Ouroboros' actions or were working with them during this period. Though the 3rd Armored Division was the first to make it to the border, a number of other divisions were on their way. In the end, the military intervention was stopped thanks to Prince Olbert of Erebonia's imperial family and Brigadier General Cassius Bright of Libelian army. Estelle's being downplayed, so is Chloe, but that's okay. You know, they had their roles, but it was really these two that were on the sides of the armies. With the arrival of Libel's functioning airship, the Arcee, as proof that they could handle the situation without Erebonia's assistance, they were given the time they needed to restore power to the region. As all energy returned to the southern reaches of the Empire, so did relative peace between the two nations. To certain individuals, however, it was clear that the Faceless, the Anguis of Ouroboros responsible for engineering the incident, had connections to Erebonia's intelligence division. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm like, oh, they're referring to Ouroboros as the Faceless? That's weird. No, they mean Feisman. That was his name, because he could, like, manipulate memories. Yeah, okay, that's about right. This does make sense, because he did orchestrate Hamel. The small autonomous weapons the Faceless utilized during this period of time would later come to be known as combat shells. Cool. That wasn't, like, important, but it was something. It was just a bit of history. So the one that's really interesting is this one, with the fucking doctors just in his room. Like, what? Like, huh? What does that mean? And then alarms maybe. This one's not too important. It just says, it clarifies her timing of acquiring the night, and that she was interacting with Rose already, and that Rose knew stuff. And the Magic Knight is a bit of a history lesson clarifying things. It could also be relating to crisis, but not certain. Either way, it was 700 years ago, which I think is before the whole like Kia plan began. So a lot there to process, and a lot of interesting stuff. I'm really interested to see about the Dreichels thing, though. Like I keep saying, we'll see where that goes. And yeah, that did take a while. So we're just gonna save here, and we'll come back to it next time and see where it leads, because we have some school time to go through first before getting on to what is definitely going to be Heimdallr is the last part of the game. See you then.